Hello everyone, Larry Satchwell here again, working on Dana and Ken's mantle. When I did the introduction to the mantle and the surround, you saw me sitting with a 4x10. Well, I looked over my notes, and in my mind, I thought it was a 4x10. In Dana's mind, she said no more than a 4x10. The original mantle was 8 inches wide. So I sent her a text message, and sure enough, she wants it 8 inches wide like the old mantle was. So I was back to the lumberyard and exchanged it out for a 4x8. So they came out this afternoon. It's just been raining for days and days and days. That's why I'm back inside. I pressure washed this one like I did the other one. Got all the stains off of it, but it's really rough. Ken's preference is rough, Dana's not so much. So we sanded, we used a wire brush, we did a couple different techniques and put some stain on it and settled on what you're seeing now. I've got about 2 hours worth of sanding here probably. I'm going to do it in short spurts, 20-30 minutes at a time. There's nothing more boring than watching an old man sand, so unless you're watching paint dry. So I'm going to let you forego all that. I need to get to work. Well, it's time to apply the finish. I've sanded this down with my orbital sander, and then I went with a hand sander and went with the grain a couple of times. And here's a quick little tip I like to use for stains and things like this. I'm going to punch a couple of holes, actually 3, through the rim here. This can is really full, and that will allow that stain, the pre-stain conditioner that is, to drip back in there. Alright, I'm going to come back in 10 minutes and wipe that off and apply the stain. It is really soaked in. Time for a little stain. This is going to be Minwax Special Dark. Here's another little tip I like to use when I'm opening and closing cans a lot. I always misplace this thing, but if I put a little magnet on it, I can usually retrieve it. And I'm going to apply this with a cloth as well. I think I can get better results, more even results with a cloth. I've got several here that I can use to keep wiping it off. This is a big piece, and I have to do the whole thing at the same time. So this is the pre-stain side, the pre-stain conditioner side. No pre-stain conditioner. All right, I'm pleased with that. So it's time to give the mantle a pre-stain conditioner. Now, this side, I'm going to leave that open. I want that to be a good surface for adhesion. That's my air conditioner kicking on. I'm inside again. Another, what is this, the 5th straight day of rain? I would much prefer to do this on my outdoor workbench, but that's not an option today. So by the time I give this whole piece of pre-stain conditioner, it's going to be about time to wipe it off. So I've decided to use a brush because there are some deep spots in here that the rag didn't get into. So this is a natural hair brush. I'm going to start here on the top. That way I control any drips. So if I get a run that's going down like that, when I turn it over, I'll be able to see that. So I'm going to start here on the end, put it on generously. If you put more than you need on, it doesn't look good. So you just want to get it covered really well. And this end is just soaking it up like a sponge. And so I'm going to get that wiped off and not let it soak in too much. I've got to move kind of fast here because I don't want one side or one spot to dry more than the others or it'll look uneven. I'm going to wait on that end grain down there because I want to make sure I get this even. Now, this rag has soaked up all that it can, so it's time to get a fresh rag. Otherwise, you're not taking it off. And I don't see any swirl marks left over from the random orbital sander. And that's always a big problem, especially since I only sanded it to 80 grit. I like that, that's pretty even. The last thing I want to do is to shine a light sideways on it like this to see if there's any spots I missed. I think I'll give it one more wipe down. Call this puppy finished. Time to make a delivery. All right.
This is my work.
It's probably not centered.
It looks so good.
All right. I mean, you can leave it right there, so I don't think it's going to go anywhere. Let's see if it'll tip. I don't think it's going to go anywhere. Looks like I got a little.
It looks awesome.